Welcome in to another new podcast from Coatings Pro Magazine. I'm your host, Ben Dubose, news editor with the AMP publications team. AMP, of course, is the shorthand acronym for the Association for Materials Protection and Performance, of which Coatings Pro is a member magazine. In today's sponsored episode, we're speaking with Denny Glandon and Jim Van Dam of NLB Corporation. Denny is NLB's Chief Financial Officer, and Jim is the Vice President of Customer Experience. As for the company, NLB has been around for more than 55 years as the leading manufacturer of high-pressure water jetting equipment. The company's pumps are designed for industrial cleaning and surface preparation applications, and they range in size up to 1,000 horsepower and at pressures of up to 40,000 psi. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about their company's FLX system, which offers a high-pressure water jetting solution to remove coatings. But before we get to the particulars, let's start with introductions. Can each of you gentlemen tell me a bit about yourself and what all your role entails within the company? Denny, we can start with you.
Sure. Hi, Ben. Thanks for having us. My name is Denny Glandon. I'm the CFO of NLB. I've been here for almost 8 years. I was in the automotive and accounting industry before that, and my primarily role is around the HR, IT, and finance groups. Jim?
Yeah, my name is Jim Van Dam. I'm the Vice President of Customer Experience, so I work very closely with the marketing team here, our inside customer service, the tech writing group, and external customer training. I've been with NLB for 31 years.
All right, so let's get into the particulars of the FLX. And as background for our listeners, we want this to be a free-flowing conversation, so if both of you guys want to chime in on a particular question, you certainly can. But if you want to just let one person handle it, that's fine as well. Just speak to whatever it is that's in your wheelhouse, so to speak. So let's start with the most fundamental question of all. What exactly is the FLX system?
FLX is a compact, self-contained water jetting system that's been specifically manufactured for coatings removal and surface preparation. What's unique about it is that all the components are put on a single trailer. And those components include a high pressure pump capable of generating water up to 40,000 psi at 6 gallons a minute. There's 2 500-gallon fresh water tanks, a 1,000-gallon vacuum recovery system, and an 850-gallon vacuum debris tank. And what is unique is that everything is on one trailer. So instead of having to mobilize multiple pieces of equipment to a job site, you can hook up to this trailer and arrive at your job site. And because there's water on board, you don't even have to have a water supply at the job site, which is very advantageous for a lot of different kinds of jobs.
It's 1,000 CFM for the vacuum recovery system, correct?
Yeah, if I misspoke, I apologize. It's 1,000 CFM.
I thought so. You said gallon, but I figured you meant CFM. All right.
CFM.
All right. So that's a good overview of the system. In terms of its uses in the field, what are the types of projects that the FLX system is best suited for?
Yeah, it's suited for all sorts of projects, especially in coatings removal for contractors if they're doing a parking garage, a warehouse, swimming pool, anywhere where, as Jim mentioned, you want a self-contained water jetting system. You have your own water supply right on the trailer, your own vacuum unit. You don't have to bring multiple pieces of equipment to the site. And with the vacuum recovery system, you can apply a new coating minutes after you remove the old coating. I mean, Jim, do you want to mention some of the evaporation rates and the quality of the service?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that maybe people that aren't familiar with water blasting or doing surface prep are surprised by. Like on a steel surface, if you remove coatings with 40,000 psi water, when you do vacuum recovery while you're doing that, that moisture on the surface disappears within, less than a minute. It just evaporates very quickly. There was or has been the misnomer that if you're blasting on concrete, somehow that water is penetrating into the concrete and could potentially be a problem for recoating. We've done extensive testing on that, and we've done moisture readings before and then after at different time periods. And we've shown that even on concrete, the moisture is back to its pre-blast levels within a minute or two.
So if you want a really efficient job, maximize profitability, this is really good system for you.
Yeah, it really is.
So we talked about the types of projects there that the FLX system is best suited for. I also want to cover the types of industry professionals that this is made for. Because here at Coatings Pro, we really want to help contractors out in the field do their jobs more efficiently and profitably. So, in terms of the target audience for those using the system, who is FLX primarily designed for?
It's ideal for any contractor who wants to enter or expand into the coating removal industry. It's important, I think, to point out that this is not really a direct replacement for open blasting coating removal methods like abrasive blasting or shot blasting. I mean, if you're a contractor and you're using those methods and they work for you, that's great. Where water blasting can really help out is if you're in a situation where you can't contain, the containment process would be too expensive or too involved, then doing coating removal with vacuum recovery water jetting starts to become interesting and cost effective. You know, it's a tool that helps you achieve complete removal results where other coating removal methods might really struggle. Things like rubberized membranes, things where abrasives tend to hit it and want to bounce off. Water does a really, really good job on that. Adhesives, sometimes it can be difficult with mechanical removal. Water jetting does a great job with that. And anywhere you really need to keep dust down, like at a pool or a resort, or anywhere there's a lot of housing around, water blasting can be a great option for doing coating removal.
For contractors and the crews that apply these coating systems out in the field, one thing you always hear about these days is the ongoing challenge with workforce development. So, in terms of using this system, how many people are actually needed? How many operators are required in order for this FLX system to work?
Yeah, workforce labor is a problem everywhere. And this system's really designed to be a two-person operation. So you've got one guy with your truck pulling the trailer, and you've got your water blasting professional. They get out, they get to the job, unload, and they're ready to go quickly. So you really can reduce your labor costs, maintain high productivity. You mentioned efficiency and profitability. This helps a lot. I think if you look at the alternative to the different components, you'd have multiple pieces of equipment, multiple drivers. It really simplifies and streamlines it. As Jim mentioned, it's one long trailer and you have three different systems between the water jet, the water tank and debris tank, and the vacuum system.
Yeah. And when we say two people, that's because we always ask that the pump itself or the pump and the vacuum have an operator there standing by watching the system. The water blasting part of it is really a single operator applying the high pressure water. That second person is a person back at the equipment, just sort of monitoring pressures and making sure everything is working as it should.
Yeah, it's really a safety issue, right, Jim?
Yes.
To have two people. So one is the minimum, but two for safety.
And along those same lines, another challenge for contractors these days is simplicity of use. Because if you are having turnover on your crews, then you need tools, pieces of equipment that are easy to operate and easily understandable for the labor you have at a given time. So just how easy is this FLX system to actually operate out in the field?
I mean, it's as easy as any other piece of high pressure water blasting equipment, probably even easier because everything is controlled from a single spot on this trailer. So instead of having to have somebody operate the vacuum system and monitoring what's going on there, and then someone also operating the high pressure pump, here all those controls are in a single location. And of course, we offer training free of charge for anybody that purchases or rents any of our equipment. So, you know, there's certainly some training that has to happen to get somebody up to speed, but once they have that, it's a fairly simple thing to operate.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, Ben. Me being a finance guy, I walked over there this morning. It's a turnkey to engage the engine. There's a rabbit button to go faster, a turtle button to go slower on the pump. It really is simple. The main training really comes from how you use water jetting, water blasting safely. But the control panel itself, I feel, is fairly simple.
Yeah. And for any areas that are more complex, obviously the training is a big deal. It's great to hear that you guys have that available. In terms of learning how to use the system, obviously it's important for contractors and industry professionals to know the individual components. So, what comes standard with the FLX system if someone procures it?
Sure. You have your high pressure pump, the vacuum recovery system, and then NLB spin jet comes standard with each FLX system. It's on that trailer. The spin jet's a very interesting tool. It was designed a while ago. It's went through several iterations, and it looks almost like a push lawnmower, if you can imagine it. And you're driving it back and forth to do your coatings removal. We can go both horizontal and vertical with different tools. You can also use it for concrete scarification, removing floor and ship deck coatings, other membranes. The spin jet's been used in places like grocery stores when they need to remove tiles, sticky adhesive, messy jobs. Jim, do you want to talk at all more about the spin jet?
Yeah, to Denny makes a great analogy. It looks a lot like a lawnmower and it pushes a lot like a lawnmower. Essentially, it's a system that has rotating jets that turn at a high speed, and it's key to giving the kind of productivity that people want out of a water jet. You can imagine a single water jet, very powerful but very small. When you're able to put multiples of those on a spinning head and spin that head quickly, that's how you're getting the production out of a high pressure water jet, the coverage.
So, that's the standard. What are some of the additional accessory options that are available if someone wants to go beyond the standard?
Sure. Because this is essentially an NLB high pressure pump. I mean, that high pressure pump is the heart of the FLX system. There's a whole host of different tools that NLB has developed over the years that can be used with this. We have rotating nozzle systems for doing vertical walls, just like we have the spin jet for doing horizontal surfaces. We have robotic crawlers, both using magnetics and vacuum. If you want to try to, remove coatings off of walls or ships. And one thing that is unique with this FLX is that it incorporates one of our newer technologies, which is what we call e-sync. And in a traditional water blasting system, you would have some sort of a valve that is starting and stopping the flow of the water out to your tool. The pump is always pumping the water. It's just the valve controls where it goes. E-sync uses a system where it allows us to actually disengage the pump from the engine. So when you want water, you actuate the tool, it tells the pump to connect to the motor, it turns and it gives you high pressure water. As soon as you don't need that anymore, you let go of a trigger and that pump disengages from the motor. So it is not pumping water when you don't need it, which is a really nice feature.
So, as we wind down our conversation today with Denny Glendon and Jim Van Dam of NLB Corporation, let's put a bow on what we've been discussing the last 15 or 20 minutes. What's the biggest advantage of the FLX system relative to any other alternatives that might be out there?
Yeah, I think the biggest advantage is the easy mobilization of the equipment. It really is an all-in-one trailer with the different components we mentioned. The FLX combines the surface preparation capabilities with onboard water and vacuum recovery, and it really provides the contractors with unlimited growth and profit savings with the single driver and operator we mentioned for the labor side. And it can really be an efficient tool to get the job done.
And for any coatings contractor or company out there listening that maybe isn't that familiar but wants to learn more, why should they consider this system? Make the pitch to our audience for why someone that maybe before this conversation wasn't that aware of the FLX should take additional steps to learn more and potentially procure this system.
Yeah. Well, for one, it has this NLB pump as its base. And for anyone who has done water blasting, most of you will recognize the NLB name and know that it stands for long-lasting, rugged, durable, dependable high-pressure water blasting equipment. So, we want people to recognize that if you're high-pressure water blasting, if you haven't used an NLB before, we'd really like to give you a shot to try it because it is a game changer when it comes to reliability and cost of operation. The FLX specifically, this system has been engineered with coating contractors in mind as a way to expand services, increase efficiencies, and maximize equipment investment. It has the self-contained operation with onboard water. So that water is with you. You're able to load up where you're at, take it with you to the job site. And then you've got the vacuum recovery on that same trailer. So you can shoot it, collect it, and go where you need to go to get rid of it.
Tim, for those people that maybe want to try it, how can they do that today?
Well, you are certainly able to go to one of our branch locations, of which there are 9 around the United States. We have rental facilities at every one of those locations, and we have, either the FLX itself, or if we don't have an FLX there, we certainly have the high pressure pump and the vacuum recovery system that you can get trained how to use and take out and actually do a job.
So Ben, we've had a lot of people get into the industry and use water jetting through the rental program. And it's a great option for people. If you want to apply it towards your final purchase, you can do a rental purchase program. There's all sorts of ways to test it out before you make the investment. And we think most people will really like it.
I mentioned letting listeners and viewers learn more information. What we've discussed today is largely a high-level overview, but for someone listening or watching that wants to get into the nitty-gritty, how can they do that? Feel free to toss out whatever plugs you would like to allow our listeners to learn more or directly contact you guys at NLB.
Yeah, that's the best way, is calling us up. One of our 800 numbers is 1-800-441-5059. Our website is nlbcorp.com, C-O-R-P. For Corp. We are in all the socials as well. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, probably something that hasn't been invented yet. And they can contact us that way. But for most of your contractors, if you're not sure what you need, you want to ask a specific technical question, I would call, we'll connect you to the right person and get you the resources you need.
Yeah, and obviously there's so many resources available. Just want to underscore that this is meant to be a high-level overview, and for anyone listening that wants the specifics, I'm sure you guys are more than happy to get that to them. They can just call you up or visit nlbcorp.com. Denny, Jim, thank you so much for the time today. This was a great conversation. Take care.
Thanks, Ben. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, great insight there from Denny Glendon and Jim Van Dam of NLB Corp. And that will do it for today's sponsored episode. As for us at Coatings Pro, if you want more resources from our end, just check out our website at coatingspromag.com and search for the Coatings Pro interview series wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts. And for AMP, just go to amp.org or search for the AMP interview series on your podcast home of choice. You can also go to YouTube and search for Coatings Pro or AMP and get the majority of these episodes there as well. Until next time, this is Where We Break. For Denny and Jim, I'm Ben Dubose. Thanks as always for listening, and please come back soon for more new podcasts from Coatings Pro and AMP.